Hello, this is Tom Bronak, and today I'm going to talk to you about a personnel productivity system and how it can improve the efficiency of your organization and the talents of your people. There are two things that people will always need: training and a job. There are two things most responsible for making a business successful are the quality of its staff and controlling how work flows within its organization. We'll talk about both of those things today. Now, the technology enhancements to productivity are not returning the same percentage of improvements as in the past. Companies must look inside for performance gains. That's basically the talent skills of your staff and how work flows. This presentation shows how you can achieve productivity gains by utilizing current technologies to optimize workflow, personnel, productivity, and business profits. Everybody has a flow for systems development, and it usually starts with somebody submitting a work request or a work order that's going to lead to the development of an application which will eventually go into the production environment. That's nice, but if you don't have a workflow, you won't get here very easily. And if you don't have checkpoints to see if you've made a mistake or you have a go, no-go decision point, then you might be building something that's not what was asked for. So what we're going to try to do is show how we can improve this entire process. The problem: organizations aren't implementing business imperatives effectively due to employee awareness, training, and workflow deficiencies. People have to know what's expected of them, and they have to be given enough warning so they can get prepared and trained for the work that's going to be assigned to them. If not, this will lead to cost overruns, and personnel productivity will definitely go down. By optimizing workflow, you'll be able to get work accomplished quicker, and you'll also be able to manage how work flows through your company, making improvements as you deem necessary. If you don't do this, service level agreements, service level contracts may not be adhered to properly, and you may also suffer from some regulatory problems which could lead to fines. And what you want to do is make sure you don't have that. Companies should concentrate on employee needs more to improve morale, productivity, and retention. After all, your employees are your most valuable resource, and also happy employees are reflected in their character and their performance, which also makes clients happy, which allows you to attract new clients more quickly. The workflow management process has a workflow system involved with it. It also has a personnel training system so that if you have a project that's going to require somebody in 2 or 3 months with specific skills, you can identify personnel that are candidates for that position and put them through a training system. If you don't have candidates in your own environment, then you have a choice of going outside. You can actually hire somebody with the skills, or you can hire a consultant. How workflow is done. Well, somebody submits a work order. That work order is a work request. So it goes to the workflow management system as an additional piece of work that somebody has to do. Normally, you can assign that work to somebody with a skill set associated with the type of work. But people have their time broken down into percentages. 60% of their time is usually spent on performing the work assigned to them as defined in a job description. 10% is in meetings, 10% is in training, and the remaining 20% is used to do special projects. So when your manager sits down with you and says, in this 20% of extra time, I'd like you to do these 2 projects. If you can do this 3rd project, then you'll be rated above 100. And if you do the 4th project, you'll really be rated high. So that's an incentive. But when workload does get to a point where it's too high for the individual to handle, then you have to do something. That problem is to issue a purchase order to the automated personnel system so that you get somebody trained on the skills that they require. Also, if you're bringing on new staff, you have to have orientation and indoctrination performed as well. The automated training system then will provide the training to the person that's needed. Now, once that person is up to speed, he can be assigned the work, and the work can be tracked from the beginning to the end. Every time somebody finishes a piece of work, it gets moved to the next station and assigned to the next worker. When it's moved to the next station, we will prioritize the work and put it on a to-do list for the individual. The prioritization will be based on due date and priority. So when a person comes in the morning and he opens up his to-do list, the top items should be the item that he should finish today, and it's the most important item he should finish today. He completes the work and is moved along until the last worker is finished with the piece of work and the work is completed. At that time, we go to a chargeback system, and the chargeback system takes in the purchase order associated with each of the people doing the work, and that's basically to account for the resource and their time. An audit trail is also produced so that you can track how work flows through your organization. The chargeback system will take the original work order and all of these purchase orders and accumulate them until you get a total, and that's the chargeback. The analysis reporting is based on the work that's flowed through, how much time is spent at each station, and what the chargeback cost is. Then management can look at these reports and find deviations from the normal or ways they can make improvements to make the work go through the system more quickly. So the workflow management system in all has a personnel system, a training system, and an interface that can be accessed to from any place, anytime. Users have profiles. Profile consists of what applications they can log on to, what their user ID is, what their password is, what their functional responsibilities are, and what restrictions they have based on can I read, can I write, can I update. So that's a security asset. A tracking library is used to trace how work flows, and it looks at the future, the current, and the past. And that's good because some past projects are very much similar to the future projects. So if you look at a past project, you can get a pretty good idea of what the future project is going to do. We have a database management system that contains all the forms that you have within your system. Associated with the forms are help programs. So we have help screens and data entry validation for every form. A documentation library is used for flat files such as standards, procedures, manuals, plans, any other type of document that's not a database form. Again, as work goes through the system, it is initially logged, assigned to a person, tracked, measured, analyzed, and reported on. Forms management and control consists of the following. An interface between the user and the work order is provided so that the user knows which form is best suited to submit in order to get his work accomplished. That form is then pulled from the forms library and presented to the individual so he can fill out the fields. If he's never seen the library or this form before, he can hit the help button, and help process will be provided that will show him the form, describe what the form is used for, and what the fields are within the form. It will also give him an understanding of what's required in each of those fields and what format he has to complete it in. He then completes the form and hits enter. When he hits enter, data entry validation occurs to check all of the fields. Any field that is entered wrong will be an error message will be provided, and a little box saying here's how you fill out the field will be provided, and the person can then enter the field and hit enter again, and if the form is completed correctly, it moves to a router. Now the router will say that this form always goes to this person, so that's the first person who gets it. They validate the form, and then they move it on to the next person along the form's life cycle. People within your company have skills, And sometimes you use a people pool concept in which you pull out somebody from a pool of people who has a skill set that you need for a project task. If that project task is in the future and you have people who are available but don't have the skills, and you have time to put them through a training system so they can get certifications and accreditations from either vendors or universities in time for that project task to occur. Each individual will have a learning skills index, which is a listing of all the skills they presently have and a definition of what that individual's career path goals are. It's always wise to try to help people achieve their own individual career goals. That's got a twofold reward. One is that you'll have people who have trained to a level that you can use more often. Secondly, you'll have a very happy employee who thinks that the company is on his side and helping him develop his own abilities to do his job. How people are recruited. You usually have a planning system where people get together and they say, here's the company's objectives for the next 1, 3, and 5 years from a strategic, tactical, or operational point of view. And they will turn around and create projects, and the projects will have work requests associated with them based on skill requirements and time frames. A staffing requirement request will then be generated for those people without the skills who have to be trained or hired in order to perform the project required task. This goes to a hiring manager or HR department manager. They will write up the staff request and then send it to the Human Resource Division for posting throughout the world. As resumes are received, they're put onto a hiring file. The hiring file is then accessed by the hiring manager. He may even have tools that can search the resumes and highlight the skill sets that he needs so that he can more easily select resumes for people who have the skills that he needs. Once he has the skill, the staffing request can be satisfied, and that person will be assigned to the project task that he was hired for. Now, all of this can be done without paper. It can all be done electronically, especially today. And that's a big step forward in helping your company become 100% green LEED certified. A goal most companies are really trying to achieve today. All right, what benefits do you get? Well, you can actually reduce your training costs, and you're definitely going to enhance personnel skills. Your workflow management system will definitely improve productivity and efficiency. Personnel performance will definitely go up. It'll be a proactive response because you'll be able to see what people are doing. You can see who needs help, who doesn't, and those that need help can be put through a training system and enhanced. A quicker response to business imperatives will definitely be achieved. You'll have a more efficient employee performance evaluation because it will be based on work that they actually did as included in the reporting system. Better employee retention will definitely be achieved. Job performance will be improved, and career planning will definitely help employees become happy. You'll have employees who have a high morale, and that high morale will show in their character, and it will also show to the clients that you have good company with good people who enjoy working there. That results in optimal business productivity and profit margins. How do you get there? Well, the first thing you have to do is do a needs analysis to determine what your company needs specifically. Then you have to create a statement of work on how you're going to achieve that, provide that statement of work to management so that you get approval and funding going forward. Next thing you do is you build a learning skills index, which could be a form that you distribute to the individuals within your company so they can list what their skills are and if they're a starter or an intermediate or a senior person in that field. And they can also write down their career path desires so you can help them achieve their own personal goals. You can then connect to people to either computer-based training, classroom training, or training that's going to be received by the vendor or through academic communities that you have a relationship with. When they finish their training, they'll get an accreditation from a university or a certification from a vendor. Work request routing will definitely improve efficiency, and it will also allow you to see where the work is actually being done today. So you can drill down to the individual performing the work and ask him directly what's going on, or provide him with an update because the work request has changed. The reports that are provided will help you understand the life cycle of work, how people perform, and how your system can be improved. All of this will lead to better profitability and more money for you, your company, and more happiness for all the people in the company. I hope this provided you with an understanding of how work can be done within a company and how personnel productivity can be improved upon. I thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Bye now.